Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel, True Divine 44. You can also get me on my Facebook page, True Divine and The True Divine, for both Instagram and Twitter. So I put out as much free content as I can, mainly via tarot. I work with energy. I combine the two. I combine tarot and the energy work that I do to bring you a narrative on a daily basis to help you navigate your day. So this is for the 12th of August 2020. We're in epic times, and sometimes sometimes it seems like the easier road to continue on as we've continued on, to allow ourselves to be fooled, to allow ourselves to put our heads in the sand, because over a long period of time now we've been trained and conformed to rely on the external, to rely on a deity sweeping in to fix the situation, to rely on a president or parliament or royalty or I don't know, however many things they can come up with, the church, to sweep in and be the hero. We're in a period of time right now where it's time to take your head out of the sand if you haven't already, and to realize that all of these times in the history as we know it and have been told it, the people sweeping in to fix the problems that have been occurring at that time they've had a horse in the race. They've got their own agenda to fulfill. And so even the so-called good guys can be held up in history and taught within the schools as the good guys and as the heroes and as the victors. Yet, if you do a bit of digging, if you do a bit of research, you'll see that actually they were just either securing their power, affiliating their power with their so-called enemies behind the scenes, whilst maintaining the guise of still being enemies to the public. That's being allowed to happen through the collective's complacency, through the collective's willingness to continue to be trained and conformed to rely on the external. The fact is that power as we know it today, within the systems that have been built up over a long period of time, causes corruption in the heart for the main part. And it causes a greed, a yearning for the same kind of power, more of it, please. But in the collective, although it doesn't seem like it, because we're not being promoted as much as maybe antagonists and people who want the divides are being promoted, there are many more people who still have that humanity within them, that still want the best for the collective, that don't yearn to have power just so that they can abuse it and gain more power on top of that. So there's more power within the collective than given credit for or given voice to. And we are in an epic time now where it is time for us to realize when contradictions and lies are being shown so much on a daily basis by those that are in power, by those that control us and lead us, is that not the very time that we take a deep breath and put a bet on ourselves? Do what's best for us and our families, and then spread that further to do what's best for our community, our collective. Never mind if you're from this country, from that country, this divide, that divide, but just to know that we start off at a consensus of our children shall not be abused no more. And from there, the building blocks fall into place by the main part very quickly and very easily. And so it's the reading backs up what I've just said there. And so the Magician comes out first, and it is a major arcana. The Magician, you know, very powerful, is it's the energy of us having all of the tools that we need to be able to flourish here in this reality, in this realm. Having all of the lessons learned and all of the weapons needed to sustain ourselves. I don't mean weapons as in weapons to hurt others, no, but to protect, to provide for, to be able to feed ourselves, to be able to manifest our realities the way that they should be. So the Magician represents the energy that we have within. And if you haven't approached that within yourself yet, then I can tell you the Magician still represents the capacity of you, the potential of you. And so the Magician keeps adding to his tricks, keeps adding to his armory, to his the things and knowledge that he can use towards future and present experiences. And so the Magician is asking us to take that energy on board, finally recognize that actually you don't need to rely on anything external to you. You have it all within you. You can manifest a reality that is much more collectively driven and much more balanced and compassionate than the reality that we see unfolding on the collective stage today. So asking us to really, really take on board that huge, immense potential that we have within, and to start using, to start manifesting, to start not just going with the grain, not relying on anything else outside of self, but relying on self, knowing that you can do this, you can carve a path forward that is good for you and therefore all of those around you. But you have to remember that this is your power to be had, that this isn't a fairy tale. This is just something that is being cut off from us in a huge way for a long period of time. So it feels foreign, it feels fairy tale like for me to say to you that you can manifest the reality that you want, that you need, that you are passionate about. But it's far from fairy tale. It's very, very true. It's just something that has been dampened down, trampled down and held down for such a long time that it feels very foreign. If you start implementing this inner source energy, the inner source power that you have, very quickly it will start to feel like second nature. Very quickly it will no longer feel foreign, but actually like you have awoken something that is very much an intrinsic part of you. And so to clarify him, we've got the Six of Cups, but it's in reverse. And so the lessons that have been taught in the school system, the lessons that we've been taught from generation to generation, each passing down this abusive system that has held and dampened down the human capacity, the human power from within. All of the history that is being taught about who are the winners, who are the good guys, what is okay and what's not okay, what is possible and what is not possible. Write it off. Write it off. Because it's just tricks and spells to absolutely lock down your true potential in this Magician, your true potential, your true inner source power. And so it's time to rewrite history, not in a way that is bad, but that is good. To rewrite history with real truth. It's to see what really we are capable of and what really we can do and what kind of compassionate, balanced reality we can actually achieve if we start to really use our creative source from within. And so the second card, is the Chariot card. So again, another major arcana. You can see that this is the yin and the yang, the white and the black horse, the divine feminine and divine masculine inside balanced within, but this is the external representation of such. So having balanced out and being recognizing your own power and the true capacity of you from within with this magician, the manifestation of such is the Chariot card on the outside, where all of a sudden, where things have been stuck, where you previously have been worried and living in fear with this Six of Cups in reverse, all of a sudden the manifestation on the outside, it's fast. Changes happen quick when you finally release that power from within, and it manifests in movement forward, propelling you forward in the physical reality that you're in right now. To clarify that, we've got another major arcana, which is the Judgment card. So this card is speaking of, it's the underground, it is the underworld, it is where the soul gets its final sort of balance to see what you've done, what you've achieved, who you've been. And it's not to say that everybody's going to die. No, the Judgment Day is when these cycles of for now, for today, this cycle of abuse and limitation coming to an end. So the belief systems, it's the death of the old and rebirth of the new. But with the Judgment card, there's kindness in you being able to judge yourself to see what is worth taking forward, what tools, what tricks, what spells of yours as the magician and powers is worth taking forward, and what manipulations, what lies, what abuses are worth leaving behind. With that Six of Cups in reverse, it speaks of rebirth, rejuvenation, and moving forward in a way that is positive, but it calls you from the deep, from the underworld. It's calling you to really recognize the deep powers that you have within, the creative powers that you have within. It's calling you to your soul's path, to get away from where your path was hijacked, either by self or by others, or self allowing others to hijack that path, to hijack that power, to hijack that creative source within you all. It's calling you back to your soul's path. And so listen to the trumpet sound, listen to that call. You might find that you feel like you've been dragged down underground. You might feel like you're in the dark for a little while. Go with it, don't be afraid. It's you facing you. It's you having the chance to question you. It's you having the ability to really know what to take forward, know what to leave behind. Look at the lessons that have been learned. Look at the people along the way. This speaks of then coming up from this with a higher consciousness, a leveling up truly. So with that, with the Chariot card, things start to really move forward and move fast. But we all need to play a part as individuals within this collective to make this movement forward a positive one. Because you better believe that with these energies that I read into, with these cards that I read into, you better believe that on the collective stage, they're using the same energies. They're harnessing the same energies. But generation to generation, they've passed down the Six of Cups upright. They've passed down information. They've passed down how to mind, F-U-C-K, somebody. How to hijack somebody's power, how to hijack a whole collective's power. Get this, how to fool a whole world into a killer virus that doesn't have a very high death rate at all. So they're harnessing the same thing. So it's only our complacency that will allow them to start another cycle with even more power, with even more dominion over us, with even more systems and constructs that allow them to hurt our most precious, precious ones, being the children. And so it's for us to take this on board, This is our role. Not one person in the collective should feel like it's not their obligation. It's a little bit like, but times a million, walking past some litter and thinking somebody else will pick it up. If everybody did that, we'd be swimming in litter. If everybody did that, our children wouldn't be able to play anywhere without running into dirty refuse. So everybody in the collective has to listen to this trumpet call, has to listen to this deep to deep calling back to the soul's journey, calling back to recognize the power that you harness when you combine your whole self, your emotions, your physicality, your spirituality, your connection to your soul, your connection to your ancestors, your connection to your psychic abilities, whatever they may be. And so the third card being the King of Wands. Now this has kept coming up. Now the King of Wands is this fatherly natured energy. He is a divine masculine energy, and where he is compassionate, he shares his passionate truths. He is protective. He's the father energy. He is protective of the children. He is protective of his divine feminine, both within himself and in the divine feminines around him. He awakens the divine feminine to know the goddess that she truly is. He is the master that is capable of exploring the divine feminine within himself, and therefore exploring the divine feminine within a goddess, and allowing her to wake up to know that she is mother. Whether she's a physical mother or not, she's mother. She's divine feminine and leading by intuition. And so he is here to, this energy is calling to, especially to our divine masculine men out there, and especially to the divine masculine within our divine feminine goddesses out there. That each calling each other, because they can both work to awaken each other. The divine masculine awakening the goddess to her true role, and the divine feminine holding space and time to hold that podium, to be that pillar that the divine masculine can stand upon and say, we let go of the past. This is how we move forward. We take forward. This is what is important to us to take forward. This is what is important to us to leave behind for good. And so to clarify that, I'm saying that it's because it's the Six of Swords. So moving away from abusive, choppy waters into a new horizon, into a new beginning, into new ways of knowing ourselves, and therefore knowing each other, and therefore having compassion for each other and the very realm that we live upon, this physical divine mother herself. And so it really is a huge day with deep, deep energy. This is a time that it's to be a part of right now. Not to sit back and hope, but to really be a part of. And we are a part of that by starting from within and allowing that to reflect on the without, on the outside of us. It's huge energy to harness today, to take hold of and take action with. And so on the bottom of one deck, we've got the Tower card. Like I said before, these energies are for everybody. These energies are around us today. And so you better believe that these energies are getting harnessed by both lower frequency and higher frequency beings. And so this Tower card, either way, illusions and lies are going to be shown for what they are, whether they're in your individual lives or on the collective stage. Huge things are going to be coming out today, or there will be documents later on in this week that have today's date on, that really do show even more of the corruption that has been going on in the powers that be. As well as that, either way, there is going to be unstoppable change, a change to the way we live. We have to choose as a collective as individuals within this collective, what this new reality is going to look like. The world isn't going to end, but we are ending right now, and there's a long run up to it. I know as humans it feels like a long time. 6 months, a couple of years, a lead up to a big cycle change is nothing. So we are in this time of a cycle, really winding down and ushering in of a new cycle. So it really is up to us, the collective, the numbers, to once and for all show these few that we put our children, our young, our fruits first. And with that, with the love of our children and our children being in the most important place in all of our hearts, everything else falls into place. Because we want abundant food for them that isn't affected by artificial chemicals. We want treatments, even herbal treatments, the oldest treatments in the book, available to them, and knowledge to be known about them. All of those things, and the list is endless, comes from putting the children first, our fruits first. And so, what kind of change do we want? On the bottom of the other deck is the Emperor. So again, yet another step up from a similar energy of the Divine Masculine in the King of Wands. The Emperor is about foundations. He can be an authoritarian, a bit old school, but he knows what works. I.e., for me, children at the foundation works for most things, if not everything. That is innocent, that is young, that needs protection, children, animals alike, then if we put those first, everything else for me falls into place. That's the kind of Emperor energy. He knows what to put at the foundation for everything else to follow through. And so he's speaking of constructs that work, bringing in systems that really work. Not treatments that make us more poorly or more reliant on other things, but treatments that really work. We're trying to usher in here the real Emperor energy, rather than the Emperor's new clothes type of energy that we've been living under for far too long. So be a part of it from today. I know a lot of you have been a part of it all along, but if you haven't awoken yet, awaken to these words today and be a part of it today. What kind of reality are we going to usher in? What kind of ethics and morals are we going to make sure upheld? What kind of treatments are going to be exalted and be able to be used freely worldwide? So be a part of it as the beautiful individual, the powerful individual, the dynamic individual that you are. Be a part of the whole, be a part of the collective today. This is a movement, and it's starting to move real fast after a long, slow wait on a human scale. So that's the reading for the 12th of August 2020. I hope that resonated with you. I hope that reached the hearts that it's meant to reach. If you need a private reading with me where we can go in depth into your individual situation and answer any questions that you may have, then we can do that. Any energy work, we can have a session like that, or we can do some spiritual guidance sessions. It's up to you as and what you need, but you can get in touch with me with the details below. You can also hit me up at True Divine on Facebook. Send me a private message and we'll get you booked in ASAP. So much love, be balanced, and as always, be whole. Mwah.